Avery Dennison Paint Protection Film uses Nano Fusion technology, an exclusive film technology that makes existing top-coated films obsolete. Top coats are a separate layer of material on top of other paint protection films, making them less conformable, more difficult to install, and weather poorly over time. Nano Fusion technology infuses the urethane film with penetrating protection. Avery Dennison Paint Protection Film is more conformable, easier to install, retains its gloss, and resists yellowing and cracking better than other films. Avery Dennison Paint Protection Film, the best you can get. Your installation toolkit consists of two 1-quart spray bottles, one for the soap or slip solution and one for the alcohol solution, squeegees, lint-free towels, and the proper film pattern for the vehicle. Be certain that the isopropyl alcohol is a 70% solution, which is available from any drugstore. The alcohol solution, used to tack the film, should be mixed in a ratio of 60% water to 40% alcohol. The soap or slip solution, used in wetting and positioning the film, should be 3 drops of baby shampoo in a quart of water. Proper mixture of these solutions is a key element for a trouble-free installation. Satisfied auto dealer customers are repeat customers, so make sure you do everything needed for a successful installation. Always install in an enclosed, well-lit area. Ideal installation temperature is 65 to 90 degrees. Avoid installing in direct sunlight or in windy conditions. Make sure your hands are thoroughly clean before beginning the installation. Always wet your fingers with the soap solution before handling the adhesive side of the film. Touching the adhesive side with dry fingers can cause permanent and visible marks. Keep both sides of the film wet with the soap solution during installation. Never allow one portion of the adhesive side to touch the other. Be sure to overlap all squeegee strokes in order to avoid trapped water bubbles. Always be patient. Remember that as long as the adhesive side is kept wet, you have plenty of time needed to make placement adjustments. There are 11 steps to a successful installation. 1. You start with the hood to register all other film elements. Prep the surface by wiping it down thoroughly with any prep solvent. 2. Plan your work. Unroll the material on the surface to be protected, noticing how the pattern matches the contours and features of the vehicle. 3. Wet your hands thoroughly with the soap solution. 4. Using the soap solution, wet and release the film from the liner, pulling the liner away from the film, leaving the adhesive side away from the vehicle. Wet thoroughly. 5. Wet the surface to be protected with the soap solution. 6. Position the film adhesive side down on the surface to be protected, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Lift and re-wet as needed to make positioning easier. With your hand, wipe a 2-inch section at the edge to allow material to temporarily tack. 7. Tack the film at the edges with the alcohol solution. Take your alcohol solution and spray the edge of the film, forcing the solution between the film and the surface. Squeegee outward. 8. Smooth out the film with the squeegee. Start from the middle out to the top and bottom. Do not press too hard when making the first pass, or you may drag the material out of place. On successive passes, use overlapping strokes and much firmer pressure to eliminate air and water bubbles. Lift and re-wet as needed, and tack with the alcohol solution. Leading edge first, then squeegee the trailing edge until it is completely sealed. 9. Conform the film to the contours of the vehicle. The film is very flexible and conformable. Once the edges are tacked down, you work the film into the contours, using the alcohol solution to increase tack. Depending on the depth of the contour, it may take several strokes to achieve proper tack. 10. Finish the application and eliminate any bubbles by using the squeegee out to the edges. Remove fingers by spraying the alcohol solution into the opening. Use the squeegee firmly several times until the film conforms and tacks. 11. Wipe down, inspect, and admire the result. Move to the next surface and repeat. The film is meant to be a permanent application, but it can be removed. Begin by pulling slowly at a steep angle from the surface. Use an adhesive remover to dissolve any remaining adhesive and then wipe the area clean. Prep the hood by wiping it down thoroughly using any prep solvent where needed. Make sure there are no bug splatters or debris. Inspect closely as any debris will impact the installation. Lay out the material across the hood, locating the center line and outer edges. When you position the material, you should place it about 1/8 inch from the outer edges. Wet your hands thoroughly with the soap solution. Flip the material with the liner up and pull the liner from the material, wetting the material as you go along. As you separate the liner from the film, spray the film's adhesive side generously with the soap solution. Spray the front of the hood thoroughly with the soap solution. Position the film at the front, center, and along the leading edges about 1/8 inch from the edge. With your hand, wipe a 2-inch section at the edge to allow material to temporarily tack. When using the squeegee, do not press too hard on the first pass because this could cause the material to move. Do the leading edge first to ensure the film is positioned correctly. Seal the edges, using the alcohol solution as needed. Once the material is firmly tacked down, you can readily conform it to the contours of the surface. Use repeated strokes, following with hand pressure to work the film in. Use the alcohol spray to complete the seal. Once the material is firmly in place, continue to go over it to eliminate any air and water bubbles. Then, work back to the trailing edge using firm overlapping strokes. When the hood is finished, you'll see the difference. Avery Dennison paint protection film is clearly superior. Prep the fascia by wiping it down thoroughly using any prep solvent where needed. Make sure there are no bug splatters or debris. Lay out the material across the fascia, locating the center line and outer edges. When you position the material, you should place it about 1/8 inch from the outer edges. Wet your hands thoroughly with the soap solution. Flip the material with the liner up and pull the liner from the material, wetting the material as you go along. As you separate the liner from the film, spray the film's adhesive side generously with the soap solution. Spray the surface thoroughly with the soap solution. Position the film at the front center and along the leading edges about 1/8 inch from the edge. Spray along the edges. Use a squeegee to eliminate air and water bubbles. Work towards the leading edge, keeping the edge of the film about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the fascia. As you work around contours, the film may pull away from the surface in fingers or little hills. These can be easily handled since the Nano Fusion technology makes the film very conformable. Simply spray the alcohol solution into the fingers and work firmly and repeatedly with the squeegee. They will soon conform to the surface. Follow along with your fingers. Once you have worked the film onto the surface to your satisfaction, wipe the installation down and inspect closely to see if any further finishing is needed. The high gloss and conformability of the Avery Dennison paint protection film with Nano Fusion technology is the perfect solution for today's vehicle owner. Prep the bumper by wiping it down thoroughly using any prep solvent where needed. Make sure there are no bug splatters or debris. Wet your hands thoroughly with the soap solution. Wet the material and pull the liner from the material, continuing to wet the material with the soap solution. As you separate the liner from the film, spray the film's adhesive side generously with the soap solution. Spray the surface thoroughly with the soap solution. Lay out the material, locating the bumper center line and features such as fog lights. When you position the material, you should place it about 1/8 inch from the outer edges. With patterns that surround a design feature such as fog lights, butt the film together and tack the film firmly. As you finish complex surfaces, make sure the film is smoothly applied. Now is the time to work out any bubbles or fingers. If any adjustments are needed, you can simply lift the film and reposition. Prep the panel by wiping it down thoroughly using prep solvent if needed. Wet your hands thoroughly with the soap solution. Wet the film thoroughly. Wet the surface. On small components like this, you can use the alcohol solution as the wetting agent, since the positioning and finishing will require less time. Pull the liner from the material, wetting as you go along. Position the film about 1/8 inch from the panel's top and leading edges. Spray the alcohol solution along the edge to position and promote tack. Start from the top down. Make sure the film is positioned correctly, then smooth along the upper surfaces. Squeegee firmly to make sure the film achieves positive tack. Once the top is firmly in place, move to the sides, adjusting the position of the film as needed by lifting and wetting. Use side and downward strokes to adhere the film, being sure to eliminate bubbles. As you complete the installation, firmly rub a towel over the film, examining closely for air and solution bubbles. As with any installation, it is important to inspect at completion. If any adjustments are needed, you can simply lift the film and reposition. Prep the mirror by wiping it down thoroughly using any prep solvent where needed. Make sure there are no bug splatters or debris. Wet your hands and wet the material, pulling the liner from the material, wetting thoroughly as you go. Using the alcohol solution as a wetting agent will facilitate positioning and tack. Locate the film about 1/8 of an inch from the edges of the mirror. Although small, mirror assemblies can have complex compound curves. Smooth from the center outward, pressing firmly as you tack the film. Work the edges until the film conforms completely. Because of the complex curves of the mirror, be sure to look closely for any bubbles or fingers. If any adjustments are needed, you can simply lift the film and reposition. Avery Dennison Paint Protection Film, the best you can get.